Hi everybody, it is Dr. Debbie Pates, and welcome to Wellness Wednesday, virtual yoga at GOCA. Um, it's a chilly day here in Colorado Springs, so I have my fire going, which is awesome. I love having a fire that I can just turn on with the flip of a switch, although I do like wood fires, but I totally digress. So this is brought to you by the Wellness Center at UCCS in combination with Gallery of Contemporary Arts on campus. I know I've mentioned before the Patrick Merrill exhibit that is on I don't know, I guess it is on campus, kind of right um, west of the Heller Center, and I was visiting it this past weekend, and it's really neat. It's called the Windmill Project, and it was a windy day when I was there, and the exhibit was making noise and spinning, and I've heard that it also lights up at night. I haven't braved that yet. I wish it was a little warmer out, but anyway, I really recommend that. And let's get started. So you can, let's sit, I would suggest sitting cross-legged to begin. Um, so find a comfortable seat. We'll come to child's pose if you are one of those people that, like, sometimes I get agitated if my practice doesn't start the same way every time. So we will get to child's pose. But we're going to do a quieter practice today, a slower practice. I was thinking about busy yoga for busy people. So maybe in your seated position here, close your eyes and start to tap into your breath. And this time of year tends to get really busy for a lot of people. And this year's different. It's the pandemic, month 9, or whatever it is. But as I talk to people, there seems to still be this sort of increase in sense of busyness or sense of stress. I don't know whether that's because we're back on red and it seemed like it was getting better and it seemed like it was going to be over and then we're recommitting again. But sit here and just allow yourself to breathe fully in and out through your nose, if that's possible for you. Feeling yourself sitting grounded into the earth, into the floor, on your mat. Feeling areas of your body that perhaps feel spacious, areas of your body that perhaps feel tighter. And so in this time of year where things are usually, right, getting a whole lot busier, but this time maybe there's just a different sort of feeling, a different sort of tension. I thought, let's do a slower practice. I love busy yoga for busy people, to tell you the truth, as you probably know if you take my class, but sometimes it's good to step out of that. So as you're sitting here, drop your chin to your chest. Reconnect with sitting up tall. Let the weight of the world drop from your shoulders. And if you need more, if you're feeling this, sometimes just dropping your chin to your chest, people can feel it all down the back, all the way down to your tailbone. But if you don't feel enough, you don't have to feel that in particular, but if you don't feel enough, interlace your hands behind your head and just allow the weight of your arms to gently increase the stretch. Keep breathing. Maybe noticing what it is that you feel, perhaps sensation up and down your spine. Maybe it's in your shoulders, maybe it's in your low back. Whatever it is that you're experience and allow yourself to experience it. And allow your experience to shift, right? So if you interlaced your hands behind your head and that starts to feel too intense, then release your hands. Let this practice be organic for yourself. Let my words be suggestions and the sensations in your body be your guide. If your hands are on your behind your head, release your hands and allow your head to roll to the right so that your right ear is coming towards your right shoulder. Connect with the tall spine. There's no specific amount of depth. What you're looking for is a stretch, primarily along the left side of your neck. And if you're not feeling much here, you can push out through the palm of your left hand. You can reach your right arm up, and you're not pulling, hopefully, but maybe gently allow the weight of your arm again and increase the stretch. But if you're feeling something, then you're getting what we're looking for. You don't have to go further. There's no bonus points for making yourself uncomfortable. In fact, maybe the bonus points come from finding that place of moderation. Yoga teacher Brian Kess talks about finding that sweet spot between not enough and too much. And just allowing yourself to be there. Release hands if applicable, roll your head center. And roll your head to the left, reconnect with the tall spine, left ear toward your left shoulder. You have a very different experience on this side, so you may be experiencing enough sensation to just end here. Not end here, but you rest here. But if you need more, left hand gently on your head, maybe pushing out through the heel of your right hand, and breathe. So in a slower practice, part of the challenge is to still remain sensitive to your body's needs. Find patience to allow your body to open through the time spent in practice. Patience of not needing to be anywhere except where you are. And as we spend time in the posture and hold, the body may shift, it may not, but not having any end goal, just allowing the process to be an exploration. Now let's release hands, and if you want, begin to make circles. Going at whatever speed feels right for your neck. Keeping the breath moving. If you want to stop somewhere, like, ooh, that's a tight little spot, then stop. Maybe just wiggle around. Allow, again, the intelligence of what your body is saying to you to guide how quickly you move, how deeply you move. I'm just giving you suggestions. Next time you get to center, switch directions. And notice whether there's any difference in how it feels to make the circles moving in this direction. And notice doesn't mean attach a story to it. Just means notice. And if a story does come up, like, oh, it's tighter on this side because of that car accident, or whatever, then, when you get to the point where you can catch yourself in the story, come back to now. When your chin gets to center again, pause and lift your head. Place your hands. Actually, if you're sitting cross-legged, which is what I suggested you do, switch the cross of your legs for right now. so that we get a little bit of balance. And place your hands on your knees, and let's begin to do some spinal grinding. Moving the base of your spine, just below your waist, but also moving from your waist, making big circles. Maybe coordinating breath, inhaling as you come forward, and then exhaling as you come back. You can kind of use your hands on your knees to hang as you come back and push and elongate your spine as we move in the other directions, but you don't have to do that. Try to find a place where this feels good. Moving some energy, moving your spine. I know that as these months go on, and we're back on quarantine when you get to the front, switch direction. I know certainly for myself and many other people are doing sitting and normal. So it's going to be, we are going to be doing some standing in this posture and doing some spinal lengthening. But just notice how perhaps your low back feels, the intensity of, or the intensity, but also the accumulation of all of those months of so much more sitting than we're used to. Come on back to center. Inhale, exhale. And then as you're ready, place your hands, actually keep your hands on your knees, and start to do a sort of a seated cat-cow. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. And the same, you can use your hands to kind of push into as you come forward and hang off your knees as you come back. That'll give you a little bit more ability to move through your shoulders, shoulder blades, if that feels good to you. In Kundalini Yoga, which is where a lot of these movements come from, they talk about keeping your spine level. Or I mean your chin level with the ground. But you don't have to do that. If it feels nice to you to move your chin up and down, then do that. You can also change the pace at which you're moving. Maybe as your spine warms up, it feels nice to move a little bit faster. And you can coordinate the breath with that too, right? So you inhale forward, exhale back, inhale forward, exhale back, at whatever speed you're working. And then keep moving and move your hands to your shins. And notice the shift in how that's going to feel in your back. Maybe feeling it more in your upper back, mid back. Just noticing when you feel it. Rocking forward and back. Moving energy up and down your spine. In Kundalini Yoga, they say that our energy lies dormant like a snake coiled at the base of our spine. And through yoga and meditation, we unfurl the snake up. Have this Kundalini awakening, and I can't promise you that this is going to happen for you today, but we can at least get some movement, move our spine, and begin to shift our energy. Come on back, center. Breathe. And notice whether, for me, a lot, I get a tingling. I definitely feel some energy moving up and down my spine after doing that. Let's keep that going. Come onto your knees now. You're sitting on your heels. And place your hands on your thighs, elbows maybe straight-ish. And again, rock forward and back, inhaling forward, exhaling back. It's a lot easier for many people doing it on your knees. You get a wider, broader range of motion. So just notice, but keep your breath going. Keep your focus on your spine. Inhale forward, exhale back. You want to speed it up. Maybe you want to slow it down. Just a few more here. And then you come to center, and again, notice. Extend your right hand out. Fingertips on the ground. So you may need to lean over a little bit because we're on our knees. And then lift your left arm up and over. And you can sit over a little bit over towards your left side. So similar to when we do this standing, right? You might kick out your left hip a little bit, reaching your fingertips to the right. And then come on up and switch sides. Lift your right arm, send your hips to the right, left fingertips on the mat, reaching out a little bit, right fingertips coming up. Getting space in your spine, space between your ribs, feeling what you feel and trying to minimize reactivity. Come on back up center and let's do a very gentle twist. Bring your right hand behind your back and onto the outside of your right thigh. And just sort of twist. We're not very warm here. You don't need to go very far. But just moving the spine. Going as far as feels good to you, come center and switch sides. Let your left hand go behind your back, right hand on the outside of your left thigh. And twist. I believe you guys, if you're looking at the screen, are seeing a lot of my back right now. Very good. And then come on back center. And keep your knees together if you like, or separate them, maybe even as wide as your mat. Walk your hands forward, come on into child's pose. And allow your head to drop onto the mat. Allow your forehead to rest. And then you maybe work on your hips, moving down toward your butt, but really what's important is just being in your body, allowing your head to rest. Your arms are by your side, move your arms are stretching out in front of you. You roll your head back and forth, left to right, massaging your forehead. Sometimes, you couldn't believe for sure, they talk about that spot right between and in the middle of your forehead as your third eye, massaging your third eye, the seat of insight. And then push up onto your hands and knees from child's pose. And either cat-cows or any other movements, maybe allow your body to just wiggle. Your body is going to tell you where it feels a need for movement here. So you might just be content with cat-cows going up and down. You've done a bunch of that movement already, so maybe giving yourself latitude if you don't normally to explore even more. My shoulders like some kind of moving back and forth in this posture a lot, dipping a little bit. And then come on back to hands and knees. And extend your right arm out in front of you. And then extend your left arm out behind you. And try to keep your hips level. So pinky toe especially pointing down at the ground. But lift up through your stomach. Lift up through your core. You want to try to have as straight of a line as possible. Reaching through your fingertips, reaching through your heel or toes, depending on if your foot is flexed or pointed. And then exhale, curl up and in, knee to elbow. Inhale out. You can really work your muscles here. In, up, extend out. One more time, curl. Extend out. And either hold here, put it down, or bend your left knee, reach back with your right foot, and get some extension in your right shoulder. Kicking into the hand, if you chose that version, and then release, and just put everything down, and let's switch sides, extend out your left arm, and your right leg. Pinky toe pointing down. So you can still you can still point your foot, but the idea here is that your hips are even with each other. Push into your right hand and lift your navel. Reach out through your left fingertips, reach out through your right heel or toes. Breathing, filling up, and then exhale, curl, and round. Inhale, reach, fill, exhale, curl. Reach out. One more time. Curl in. Reach out and then bend your knee if you want. Reach back. Grab your right foot with your left hand. Kicking into your hand to open your shoulder. Getting a stretch through the front of your arm as well. Breathe. And then put it down. And slide forward. Come onto your stomach. And let your hands come by your sides, palms facing down, chin or forehead on the mat. And on an inhale, we're going to work the back side of the body. Just lift everything. Inhale, lift, and then exhale, put it down. Lifting arms, lifting chest, lifting legs. On an inhale, keep going. So do a few of these with your own breath. Almost like you're moving through water. Slowly, there's no hurry to get anywhere. Almost like you're a jellyfish. Lifting the back side of your body. And then come on down. Clasp your hands behind your back. Clasp your hands behind your back and bring your feet about hip width distance, or you could bring them together. And then on an inhale, lift and lift everything. So traditionally, this is locust pose. Traditionally, or this is bound locust. Your feet are together. A lot of times when I teach a class, I see people's feet separate. So whatever feels okay for you. Just working the back side of your body, engaging those muscles, stretching through your chest, through your shoulder blades. It's not your shoulder blades. And then release. And let your hands be up alongside your body. Turn your head to one side. Turn your ear onto the mat. Working the back side of our body is heat producing. Pretty challenging. So if you're feeling a little bit out of breath right now, just know that that's normal. And let's do a bow pose. Bring your chin or your forehead back to the mat. Bend your knees and grab your feet or your ankles. And then again, kick and lift. Don't go as high as you possibly can. Go as high as what feels right today. You can even rock back and forth a little bit on your stomach as you breathe. And then release. Turn your head to the other side. Arms alongside your body. Palms facing up. Letting yourself feel your heart beating against your mat. Feeling yourself here in this moment. Noticing any judgment that's coming up. Bring your hands head center. Bring your hands into cobra position. And let's do a cobra. Put your hands. So you might have come up already. What I would encourage you is to think about, so cobra is not up dog. Cobra, you have your legs on the earth. Think about pulling, almost like wanting to lengthen your stomach. And then exhale, come on down as if you're moving through water. So you really can still be engaging your muscles here. Come on up. Maybe look over your right shoulder. Dipping your left shoulder a little bit. Coming back center and down. up. Inhale, grow with your right shoulder looking over your left. Back to center. Exhale. Push back into child's pose. Tuck your toes. Lift your hips. Downward facing dog. And do what you need to do here in down dog. Making some movements. Get what you need out of being in this shape at this moment in time. And try, if you feel like it, to find some stillness. So you get the wiggles, you find where you need to be in this position, and then you find stillness. And hold and notice, hold and notice. So the position, the shape becomes static, although of course there's lots of micro movements, maybe a little bit of shaking in the hands or shifting in the heels. But you try to get the position to be static. The breath keeps moving. And maybe also the mind keeps moving. And so we use the body, the physical sensations as a reminder. Come back to present. We use the breath as a reminder. Come back to this present moment. And walk to the top of your mat, maybe trying to kind of push your heels down as you come up. Ragdoll. And forward, maybe bend your elbows and clasp opposite elbow, or put your hands in the crook of opposite elbow. Maybe sway. Check out what's showing up for you in your neck and your shoulders and the back sides of your legs, back side of your body. And then maybe check out what's showing up for you in the front side of your body. And then maybe check out what's going on in your jaw. And bring your mind back. And release your hands. And roll up, roll up. And standing. And let's spend a few moments in Tadasana, standing mountain pose. So roll your shoulders up and back and down. Allow your hands to face forward. Chin is level with the ground. Lift your kneecaps, maybe again let the weight of the world fall from your shoulders, and perhaps close your eyes. And stand here, feeling your body in space. Imagine somebody's gently lifting you up, maybe touching your rib cage and lifting you up from either side, and maybe gently taking your hand, if you have it, and pulling up. But it's all gentle, just to create more space. And then maintaining this length. Inhale your arms up. And dive forward, Uttanasana, forward. And then lift up halfway, lengthen your spine. And exhale, forward. Sweep your arms up. You're trying to keep all the length that you've created as you rise. Bring your hands overhead and pull it in, heart center, and keep going. Inhaling up, folding forward, lifting halfway, folding forward, and then again, rising up, coming to standing. Bringing your hands overhead, and pulling your energy into your heart. Inhale your arms up. Let's do this one more time. It's half sun salutation. So my computer is telling me that it can't see, can't play the video for me. So rise back up again. Try to keep your back flat as you rise. Hopefully you guys are seeing the video. Bring your hands together and pull the energy into your heart. And let's move on. Inhale your arms up. And exhale, forward fold. Lengthen halfway up. Put your hands down and step back to high plank. And let's hold high plank. Moving through familiar movements, but doing it slowly. Maybe you even want to drop your knees to the floor here. Holding plank. If your knees are off, pushing through your heels. Even if your knees are on, you're still lifting through your core. You're still engaged in your shoulders. And then lower, come to chaturanga, or always you can choose laying on the floor. And then an upward facing dog. And then lift up to downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward and drop your left knee so that you're in a low lunge. Rise up, lift your torso, and maybe you put your hands on your right thigh and sink into your right knee, creating a lot of space in the front of your hip flexor, your left thigh, opening up left psoas as well. Breathe. If you want, you can lift your arms up. You don't need to, though. If you want, you can continue back, taking a little bit of a back bend here. But we're not looking to crunch. We're looking to first lift and then come back. If you really want to amp it up, push into the top of your left foot and lift your right knee. But only if you really want to. Only if that seems like it would be fun for you. Not because it seems like it would be hard. And then drop your left knee down. Bring your hands to the inside of your right foot. Toe heel your right foot up. Runner's lunge. Sometimes in runner's lunge, people like to come onto the pinky edge of their foot and allow their knee to open out. You might try that if you haven't before. And if you try it and you don't like it, then stop doing it. Come down to whatever degree suits you today. And if you have a block, you can put your forearms on the block if they don't make it to the floor already. And relax. Relax into the pose. Let the time that we spend here help you soften. Let the time that we spend here help the pose deepen. But you're not posing, you're not posturing, you're putting your body into a shape and asking permission. Constantly asking permission. Is this okay, body? Are we good? You want to back out? Shall we go deeper? You're not demanding. You're asking. Come on back up onto your hands and bring your right foot back to, come onto your hands and knees here. And then you're on hands and knees. Extend your left leg out. Put the foot on the floor flat. Roll onto your right hand and lift your left arm up. And play around with this. Find openings. So we're in a modified plank, modified side plank. Maybe you want to allow your left hand to open, float back. Maybe you want to bring your left palm toward the floor, bicep by your ear, and stretch. Maybe you want to lift your left foot off the ground. Maybe you want to reach back and grab your left foot with your left hand and open up, kind of similar to what we've done already. And maybe you just want to stay in the side plank and explore circling your arm around, whatever it is. Let this practice be an exploration. And then release your left leg if you had it, left hand down, step back, high plank. And you can lift your hips right into downward facing dog or go through a vinyasa if you prefer, ending in downward facing dog. And breathe in, down dog. Feeling your strong arms. Feeling your strong back, your strong chest, your strong legs. Feeling your strong brain telling you the right amount, enough but not too much. And then step your left foot forward into a little lunge, drop your right knee, and come on up into some version of crescent moon. So maybe your hands on your left thigh. But whatever you're doing, let it feel good. And not just, oh, here I am hanging out. Go far enough that you get sensation. Opening up through the right hip flexor thigh, psoas. Lifting your arms if you want. Back bending a bit if you want. And maybe a couple of you might push into the top of your right foot and lift your right knee off the ground. Check in with your jaw. Check in with your eyes. Check in with your ego. If your knee's up, put it down. If your arms are up, put them down. Runner's lunge. Toe heel your left foot up toward the top left corner of your mat. Maybe roll onto the pinky edge of your left foot and come on down. Breathe. And notice the differences in the two sides of your body, but try not to be too much in story about what it says about your worth as a human being, because it doesn't say anything about your worth as a human being. But what's interesting is when we begin to notice our relationship with those thoughts and how those thoughts impact us. And a lot of the impact that they have is based on our relationship with the thoughts. Do we say that they're true? Or do we think that a thought is just a thought, not a reality? Come on up. Bring your left knee back to meet your right. Extend your right foot back behind you, modified side plank again. So start with that opening. Your right leg is stretching behind you and you lift your right arm up. And don't move too quickly. Pause here, feel it. Maybe right bicep by your ear. Maybe you're making circles. Maybe you're lifting your right foot. Maybe you're reaching back, grabbing onto your right foot with your right hand. Definite balance issues there. Challenges, not issues. Possibly. If it hurts, stop doing it. In this pose and every other pose. And then release. Right foot back down if it was up. Put your right hand on the floor. Your right hand's foot is already in plank position. Step your left foot back to meet it. High plank. And make your way to down dog. And take a few breaths. In down dog, you can always choose to drop into child's pose. Breathing. forgot to bring my phone over, so I have to look at my computer to check the time here. Good. So if you weren't in down dog, come back into downward facing dog. And step your right foot forward. Spin your left foot flat. Clasp your hands behind your back. So you're in this, you're still folded over. Clasp your hands behind your back and rise up into a version of humble warrior, or a bound version of warrior one. Hands are back. So temptation to kind of pop out your rib cage right here. So even though you're reaching your hands back and opening through your chest, try to keep your ribs tucked. And then allow your arms to open up. Warrior one, rise up, warrior one. And then open, second warrior. Right arm reaching forward, left arm reaching back. Trying to have your spine straight up and down, not leaning forward or back. Sink into your right knee. And we're going to do a kind of flow. Move into extended side angle, and then into reverse warrior. Moving with your breath, and keep on going. Again, as if you're underwater, just flowing this. Doing what feels good with your arms, what feels good with your neck, maybe even getting a little creative. And then come on back, warrior two, straighten your right knee. Triangle. Reach forward and tilt. Crown of your head forward and triangle your body. You're trying to get it open to the side. Lifting your right arm up. Reaching, elongating through both sides of your body as best as possible. Ideally, both legs are straight in this posture. And then rise back up. Turn your feet parallel to each other. Clasp your hands behind your back. Again, open your shoulders and bow forward. And this time, let your hands come off your back toward up overhead. And then bring your hands down. Lift up halfway and place your right hand kind of just directly underneath your face and twist. Lift your left arm up. So you can allow your right hip to dip down a little bit maybe, looking up at your left hand. And then switch. It's a gentle twist. Left hand under your face, looking up at your right hand as you lift it. And then come on back down. And this time bend very deeply into your left knee. And your right foot might lift or your right foot might stay flat on the floor. That tends to depend person to person. Come on back up and switch sides. And a deep stretch through your groin, the inner thighs. Switch sides again. Some people like to do this with their hands at heart center. That increases the challenge to balance and muscle engagement. Other people like to do it with their hands on the ground. Neither one is right. It's just a choice that you make. And then come on back to center. Stand up, come back into pigeon-toed. Bring your hands to your hips, elbows toward the ceiling. Your knees can be softly bent if you like. And rise up. Standing. And we're simply going to turn to the other side. So you're going to be probably facing the back of your mat here. And we'll start from where we started in the beginning. So come to a warrior one stance. Clasp your hands behind your back. So your left knee is bent, your right knee is pointing in. Clasp your hands behind your back. And again, shoulder blades together, open. Feel what you feel. Sink into your right knee, left knee, that is, sorry. And then lift your arms up. Warrior one. Open up. Warrior two. And find the pose. Find this position, this shape. Left knee tracking out. Towards your pinky toe, arms reaching. And then reach forward towards your left side, extended side angle, lifting your right arm up. And then come back, reverse warrior. And take that flow, flowing flow. Feeling the body warming, opening perhaps. Or maybe feeling, I don't know what you're feeling, do you? Can you pay attention to what you're feeling? And come on back, warrior two, straighten your left knee. And make your way into triangle. Reach forward, get length. Right arm up. You can look up at your right arm if it feels good, right hand. That's the traditional stance here. But if that doesn't feel good, then look wherever it feels good to your neck. All right, so being really conscious of wanting to do these shapes with integrity, but not wanting to force your body into something that your body doesn't want to do, isn't happy doing. Rise back up. And turn, actually come a warrior two to the back of your mat. Windmill your hands down. Come up on your right toes. Step back with your left foot. Chaturanga. Up dog. To downward facing dog. And come to walk, just walk your feet and your hands together to meet in the middle of your mat. And come on up to standing. And you can turn back to whatever direction you like best. Let's do tree pose. And then we'll do dancer. And what we're gonna, actually let's do dancer and then tree. So put your weight on your left foot. Bring your right elbow by your right rib cage. Reach back and grab your foot. So we've done this motion a lot already today. If you've chosen, go into tree, to dancer, you know how. You're not gonna be here for all that long, so really go for it. Really go for dancer. And if you're, come on back up. All right, so come back kind of neutral. And what I want to do is, if you can, just bring your foot right into tree without putting it on the ground. Bring your hands to your heart. Perhaps interlace your hands and turn your palms up toward the ceiling. One point of focus is always helpful here. And then release. And float your arms down, float your foot down. Same thing other side, left elbow by your left rib cage, reach your right arm up. Dancer. Weight shifts to your right foot. Reach and kick, get it while you can. You're ready now. You are ready now. Baron Baptiste says, be a yes. Be a yes to being in this shape. Be a yes to your life. Be a yes in your life. Be a yes to this moment, in this moment, in this moment. Come on back up and tree. If you need to put your foot down, life goes on. But try to not put your foot down. Interlace your fingers, turn your palms up toward the ceiling. Here's another posture where I certainly tend to poke my low ribs out. So try to bring your low ribs in. And then release when you're ready. And come to the top of your mat and separate your feet wide. as wide as you're not. We're going to come into Malasana Yogic Squat. So some of you, you may bring your hands to your heart to start. And what I want you to stay connected with, if you're already there, go, but stay connected with a tall spine as you sit down into yogic squat. And come down as far as you can. You want your butt as low as it can be toward the ground, elbows toward the inside of your knees. And don't, if you're looking at the screen, and if you can see me, my screen's still black. If you can see me and you're looking at the screen, my hips don't let my butt go down very far. I've seen people in this pose and it looks like their butt is sitting on the ground, even though it's not. So take your body where your body goes, not where my body goes. And let's take a few breaths here. Opening up your thighs. If this is excruciating, you can come up a little bit. If you have a block, you can also sit on your block. And it's going to be less intense, but you're still opening your body in a similar way. So we're going to, in a few moments, stay where you are. We're going to, in a few moments, come to seated. If you want, you can just drop your butt onto the ground. But if you want, you can bring your hands. I'm going to show you a position called firefly. It's really hard for me anyway. Bring your hands through your legs. Your fingers are going to face forward, and the backs of your thighs are on your upper arms. And then you shift your weight back till you come onto the palms of your hands. And maybe you lift up your head. Maybe, you lift up your feet. Some people can shoot their feet out forward. And wherever you are, come to seated. And let's do that cramped my stomach muscles. Okay. Let's do a seated figure four, seated pigeon. Both feet on the ground. Cross your right ankle on top of your left leg. And if you need to, so you're wanting to feel this somewhere in your right glute, thigh, hip. So you may need to move your hands. You may need to energetically push your knee forward. Breathe. And then walk your hands back a little bit. Keep your right ankle where it is. Lift your hips up, one-legged tabletop. Try to get your body parallel to the floor. It's challenging. You can keep your chin towards your chest, or you can allow your head to come back. And then come on down, and we'll turn this into a seated spinal twist. So take your left foot, bend your left knee, tuck your foot in towards your right glute, put your right foot on the ground. Bring your right hand behind your back, lift your left arm up, twist your body to the right, and then maybe your left elbow comes to the outside of your left knee, or that's your right knee. You know how to do a spinal twist. That's what I'm talking into. And then when we unwind, open, twist. And then other side. Bring both feet to the floor, cross your left ankle over your right knee. And the same thing. You need to walk it in more. You're sitting up tall, ideally. So again, shoulder blades squeezing together. We've been doing that a lot. And allowing this side to feel the way it feels. Don't try to force it to be the way the other side was. That's not fair. You didn't like your parents trying to force you to be like your sibling, right? Don't do that to yourself. Don't perpetuate patterns that we didn't like. Don't perpetuate patterns that make you Reverse tabletop. Walking those back a little bit and lift. This is a hard position. I think this is a lot more challenging than it looks this one. Come on down and twist. Tuck your right foot in. Put your left foot on the floor outside your right thigh. Left hand behind you. And unwind, open twist. And then your left knee's forward. Keep your left knee forward. We're going to do pigeon because I don't want you guys to leave disappointed here. So just swing your right leg back behind you and move right into it. You don't have a whole lot of time left. So get it while you can. But because I said that, don't rush. Notice the tendency to want to look at your clock right now or to start thinking about what it is that you're doing after this. There's still time. Be here. Be here now. Deep, long breath. Let's switch sides. So however you want to do that, pigeon with your right knee forward. Keeping your jaw soft, creating space in each position that we put our body in, creating space, and then allowing that space to create more room for movement in each subsequent shape. Creating space for your ideas, creating space for new possibilities in your life. Creating space to be able to step out of busyness and into this spaciousness, right? How do we stop patterns? Sit up on your right hip and sit up. Let's do one seated forward fold. Bring your hands out in front of you, or your feet rather, out in front of you. Lift your arms up and bow forward. There's nowhere to get, nowhere to be, nothing you need to grab onto here. Just using your breath and your humility to sink into the pose, trying to get the crown of your head beyond your feet. And then sit up and roll all the way onto your back. And when you get onto your back, hug your knees in and rock a little bit left to right. Keep your right leg in, left leg long, spinal twist. And let's take a few deep breaths here. Really sending breath into your low back. So the way that we change patterns is we create spaciousness. Viktor Frankl said, in between stimulus and response, there's a space. And in that space lies our freedom to choose. Bring your knees back to center and switch sides. Or your left knee goes to the right. How do you create that space, right, between stimulus, what happens, and then your response? And you want to choose a response, not a reaction. Right? You're going to have a reaction like, oh, that sucks, or whatever, but what do you want to come out of your mouth? That's your... Bring your knees back in. But in order to respond, hug them both in. Shavasana, let it go. Body heavy on the ground. Feeling perhaps a different kind of openness after this practice. Similar movements, but done at a different cadence, perhaps done differently because of that. This whole practice is an invitation to notice. And that's where we create the space. Of course, through putting our body in these shapes, we are quite literally opening and expanding. But we're also giving ourselves the chance to notice the dialogue that we have with ourselves and question, how do I feel about this? Creating a space to be able to even make different choices, respond differently. And you have to first notice, that's the first step. Notice what you're doing. Notice how what you're doing makes you feel, makes other people around you feel. Notice whether you're okay with that. And if you're okay with that, beautiful. And if you aren't, beautiful too. Because now you have the opportunity to do something different. I think we're going to work on Firefly and some subsequent practices. I kind of forgot about that shape until yesterday, actually. We're right at about time. And we'll leave you here. Thank you guys very much for practicing with me. I will be here again next week. I'm not really sure what we're going to do when campus is closed over the winter break. Any feedback on that would be great. Bundle up, get outside. It always feels good no matter what. Have a great rest of your day. Namaste.